Don't care if you have Jesus here representing you. It's unacceptable if you are covering the device when you're supposed to be blowing into it.
She's not covering the device, Jim.
It's like obscured, it's looking at the gap, like you're looking at the sky, there's other people going into the device.
Oh, no.
Okay, pause. This right here is the moment the entire courtroom flips. The judge realizes someone else blew into the ignition device, a huge violation. For anyone who doesn't know, having another person blow into your interlock is basically the DUI probation equivalent of trying to use a stunt double for your breath test. Judges see this as deception, and they do not play around with it. What would you do if you were the judge here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you give a warning or jail
If
time?
I may, Judge.
Today, we are in Judge Fleischer's courtroom where a woman is accused of using drugs. We are in Judge Fleischer's courtroom where a woman is accused of using drugs and driving under the influence of alcohol. When the woman learns that someone else came out of her device instead tells her not to turn it off under any circumstances and to blow into the device herself. Tells her not to turn it off under any circumstances and to blow into the device herself. America's most intense courtroom. Jaw-dropping moments from America's most intense courtroom.
She's not on docket. Judge, I'm here on when we spoke last. She's not on the case. We had heard about her allegations of testing positive for methamphetamine. We had heard about her allegations of testing positive. Since that time, and she's here, we have had an opportunity to since that time, and she's here. We have had an opportunity to dig into it a bit more. Mr. Fowley apparently was taking both Adderall and that we are seeing. It appears they may well have been testing for blood lab tests that we are seeing.
Can't imagine that Vyvanse going to make you test positive for methamphetamine. Can't imagine that Vyvanse going to make you test positive for methamphetamine.
I've got the articles here. Apparently Vyvanse with you, but Vyvanse metabolizes down into a form called Vyvanse metabolizes down into a form called diamphetamine. I'm going to mess it up, but it's diamphetamine, which will test positive. I'm going to mess it up, but it's diamphetamine, which will test positive. The same lab testing agency that Harris County is using is now involved. The same lab testing agency that Harris County is using is now in lawsuits for testing people positive for methamphetamine. Two federal lawsuits for testing people positive for methamphetamine. We're trying to see that when in fact they are. We're trying to untangle and we're trying to circumstance here. Where we're trying to untangle.
This is such a wild twist, because now we're dealing with one of the most controversial issues in modern probation: false positives. The lawyer is basically saying, my client isn't on meth, your test is broken. And honestly, he might not be wrong. Several US labs have been sued for this exact problem. This moment shifts the case from she violated probation to is the system even accurate? And that is huge. Let me know. Should courts rely on tests that aren't 100% reliable? Yes or no?
We've become aware of some other allegations down into a form called D-amphetamine alcohol testing device in her car. And it's my understanding there are also some email chains between my client and her old probation officer about her reporting dates, and her lab testing agency that Harris County is using is now involved in. The probation officer had some discussions with her about knowing that two federal lawsuits for testing people positive for methamphetamine. We're trying to gather all those. And we're trying to see
and is she
where we're trying to untangle the kind of circumstance here. We've become aware of some other allegations involving alcohol testing device in her car.
Come up, Mr. Frawley.
And it's my understanding there are also some email chains between my client and her old probation officer about her. I'm sorry, you know what? Reporting dates and her testing. In apparently this previous
acceptable if you're
probation officer had some discussions with her about knowing that the Vyvanse would test positive. She's not covering the device test. We're trying to gather all those.
But there's still other violations? And is she continuing the test?
If I may, Judge,
She's not using?
what we're seeing, there's not a routine pattern of this. What we're seeing is that there are occasions, and Mr. Crowley can speak to this, she would go back in and get everything recalibrated whenever.
This line right here, iconic. Judges rarely snap like this unless they believe someone is gaming the system. This isn't just anger, it's a warning shot. When a judge brings Jesus into the conversation, you know the patience meter is at 0. And legally, she's right. Any attempt to obscure a camera or have someone else blow into the device can trigger probation revocation. High stakes, high pressure. What do you think? Is the judge being too harsh or perfectly fair?
Was brought to her attention that she was not being captured on. To be fair, there have been occasions when other people have driven the car and they necessarily must blow in it, but it is not a pattern.
It's
very sporadic.
unacceptable if you are covering the device when you're supposed to be blowing into it.
She's not covering the device.
She also is on probation and felony court, and it looks like there's a going into the device.
If I may, Judge, spoken to felony court. What we're seeing is there's not a routine. They are waiting to resolve. What we're seeing is that there are occasions, and Mr. Crowley there just now, she would go back in and get everything staffing it, recalibrated, whenever it was brought to her attention that she was not being captured.
I'd like to send her for a drug and alcohol
To be
test
fair, there
now
have been
while she's here.
occasions when other people have driven
And
the
then
car
we need to have
and
a
they
hearing
necessarily
with
must
regard
blow
to
it, but it
the
is not a pattern
methamphetamine
behavior.
and
It is very
the Vyvan
sporadic.
issue, you know, and
I'm waiting on a letter from Jimmy Valentine, who is a nationally recognized toxicologist about this issue. I think it's going to resolve everything, but I mean,
well, I
if I
appreciate
may,
the
I've already
tenacity,
spoken to felony
I'm
court.
going to
They're
have
not
issues
pushing
if you're
motion.
trying
They are waiting
to
to
cover the
resolve
camera.
this issue.
If you're trying to do
I
things
went
of
up
this
there
nature,
just now,
I'm telling you now,
and
I'm going
the
to have
judge
a
up there
humongous
is
problem with
staffing it, and he's going
And I
to
have,
try to
don't
get to
care
the
if you have
bottom of this.
Jesus here
methamphetamine
representing you.
problem.
I'd like to send her for a drug and alcohol test now to be disingenuous by covering the camera, and then we need to have a hearing with regard to the methamphetamine and don't cover the Vyvan issue, you know, and
I'm waiting on a letter from Jimmy Valentine,
The
who is
idea
a
is that
nationally
if that car's
recognized
moving
toxicologist about
and
this
you're
issue.
behind the
I
wheel,
think it's going to resolve
you're supposed to
everything,
be
but
taking
I mean,
I'm testing not someone else. I appreciate and then
tenacity,
allowing you to drive. But I'm going to have issues if I find that happens. I'm going to lose the camera. I'm going to lose it. If you're trying to do things of this nature, I'm telling you now, I'm going to have a humongous problem with it. And I have, don't care if you have Jesus here representing. I want to set it for a hearing, but perhaps you were trying to be disingenuous by covering the camera. I think we need to have an expert too. I mean, we need to figure out how we're going to have someone come testify on the issue as far as cover the camera, Vyvan, and don't have other people blow into it because I don't. The idea is that I don't know. Let me reach out to my and you're behind the wheel. Staff, you're supposed to be taking go forward the breath test, not someone else, and then them allowing you to drive. Let's do like 2 to 3 weeks. We'll set it for a hearing. If I find that happens, I'm going to lose. You know, have the probation officer ready. Do you understand? Every allegation ready to go.
we would only ask, and we'll be happy to do that.
I'm going to send
We
it for a
just
test
asked
now. I
for a
want to
list
set
of
it
what
for a hearing,
we're
perhaps in
about.
2 weeks. Yeah, of course. So then, I think we need to have an expert too. Operational now to figure out how we're going to have someone come testify on the issue. Is she still reporting now? Vyvan and
As far as I can tell, everything still operates.
I don't know. Let me reach out to my my staff.
Here in misdemeanor.
Figure out how we're going to go forward.
4034.
Let's do like 2 to 3 weeks. We'll set for a hearing, a formal hearing. You know, have the probation officer ready. Every allegation is ready to go. Right.
We would only ask, and we'll be happy to do that. We just asked for a list of what we're
Why is
about.
felony court unhappy? Of course.
Because they got the same case review.
Is everything operational now as far as interlocks? Is she still reporting now?
As far as I can tell, everything is still operating.
Who's in the 184? Who's that?
That's,
What is the cause number, Shatori? Okay.
That's here in misdemeanor. It is,
So let's set the hearing for 3 weeks. And then I'm gonna get with my staff to see how we're going to go forward as far as the methamphetamine issue.
We'll be happy to share everything we
That's right.
find about. We're still untangling it, but, you know, I've been in a lot of these problems, and this one is giving me
Why
pause.
is
It sounds
felony
like
court
something
unhappy?
where we may be going down the wrong path, so I want to bring it to your attention.
Don't test positive from now. And I'm telling you now, I'm going to drug test you like crazy, and I'm going to test you for alcohol like
Who's in
crazy.
the 184?
Do you understand that? Don't
That's
test
Cat
positive.
Thomas, Judge.
Because it's really going to go sideways real quick. All right, so let's set the hearing for 3 weeks.
Understood.
Pick a day, 3 weeks, and then I'm going to get with my staff to see how we're going to go forward as far as
Understood.
the methamphetamine issue.
Yeah, we'll be happy.